for this Red Sox team. Again, they have bat per home run. Judge at 9.6, Ohtani 11.8, O'Neill even better than Anthony Santander, who had 44 home runs this season. Amazing. Coming up, whether it was at the plate or on the bases, Shohei Ohtani made history in 2024. Next, we'll dive into his dominance as we break down the DH nominees. At the nominees for catcher, William Contreras led all catchers, 49.5% hard hit rate, 92.8 mile per hour average exit velo. His brother Wilson Contreras, you got Yainer Diaz, Shea Langler, Sal Perez, also Cal Raleigh of the Mariners, Adley Rutschman from the Orioles, Will Smith, the Dodgers. You feel like he's always a little under the radar. Tyler Stevens was excellent, as was Austin Wells. He'll be in the mix for the AL Rookie of the Year. On the latest edition of the AV Files, we examine the tools of ignorance, the backstop. Some of the premier catchers in play for the All-MLB team. Let's start with William Contreras, the Milwaukee Brewers. He led all catchers with 4.9 WAR and 99 runs. His 831 OPS and 129 OPS plus trailed only his brother Wilson, and he fell slightly behind in both those categories. Wilson! Contreras became the first catcher with 90-plus RBI and 90-plus runs scored since Hall of Famer Joe Mauer did so in his MVP year of 2009. He also showed his durability, playing in 155 games this season. How about some love for the old guard? That's right. There hasn't been a Sal who's caused such a ruckus since Danny Aiello's pizza store owner in Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. Boycott Sal's. Extra cheese is $2. Not Brooklyn, but Kansas City is where this Sal applies his trade, and he's done it so well for so long. Sal Perez led all catchers with 104 RBI this season. His 27 home runs were the third most behind Cal Raleigh and Shea Langoliers. He was also third at the position with a 786 OPS, and tough to find anyone more clutch than Perez. He hit 329 with a 956 OPS with runners in scoring position this season. Next, we head to the Pacific Northwest and the wonderfully nicknamed Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh. Raleigh led all catchers with 34 home runs this year, and his 100 RBI were second behind only Sal Perez, while he was second in WAR behind only William Contreras. And again, this is a vote for durability at the most taxing position on the field. Raleigh led all catchers, both 135 games and 1,122 innings behind the plate this season. The Baltimore Orioles are in the playoffs in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 96-97, and Adley Rutschman is one of the faces of the Birds. Rutschman ranked in the top 10 among all catchers in home runs, RBI, WAR, hits, and runs scored. And don't forget about his value behind the plate. Rutschman was ranked as the third best blocker among all catchers, according to StatCast. Lastly, save some love for Yainer Diaz, a catcher who actually hit almost 300. Diaz led all catchers with a 299 average this season, and he was fifth in WAR overall. He'll get his chance to shine in the postseason, but for now, we can appreciate what he did for the Astros in the regular season. Back here with Steve Phillips and Dan Plesac. I feel like at this corner of the studio, normally Steve has a robe on right now, so he's disrobed right now, just for the All-MLB show. Verdict is, William Contreras, though, Steve, honestly, fantastic year for the Brewers. I think he's the head of the class.
He really is. And you think about when they lost Christian Yelich, where were they going to get the offense? And this guy just delivered right out of the get-go. He's so good with runners in scoring position, and he can take the high fastball. In this era, everybody throwing that high fastball, he can hit the heater. He can hit the big stuff. He's got power to all fields. He can pull it to left center. He can drive it to right center field. Came up with so many big hits for this team. And the back picks, the fourth most back picks of any catcher in baseball this year. That's how you can control the aggressiveness on the bases for the opposition. He got it done. Big-time production from William Contreras.
And so look at those numbers. Jonathan Lucroy, of course, he was a great Brewers catcher. Buster Posey on that list, and Sal Perez of the Royals. For years, Sack, we got used to seeing Martin Maldonado behind the plate. He was great defensively, didn't add much offensively. Now they have an offensive catcher, Yainer Diaz.
Diaz was terrific this year. The Astros got off to such a slow start. They get into the middle of May. They're well under 500. 10 games behind the Seattle Mariners in June. Not only did they make those games up, they blew right by the Mariners. The catching position is such an important part on every baseball team. Learning a new staff, learning different pitchers that come into your organization, controlling the running game, but more importantly, look at that graphic. Hits 175. Look at the batting average, 299 and 84 runs batted in to go along with it. He had a marvelous but a very quiet 2024.
Among Astros catchers all time, certainly important stats. I interviewed Shea Langeliers once, and I go, rhymes with chandeliers, right? He's like, yeah, that's what I always tell people. Shea Langeliers, rhymes with chandeliers. Well, he was hanging this year. 29 home runs, which was actually second among all Major League catchers. He was also top 5 in slugging and OPS+. I know when you think of the A's, you think of Rooker and Butler for good reason, but Langeliers provide a lot of pop for an Oakland team and also that pop time behind the plate. So wanted to give some love to him with the green and gold as well, as Langeliers gets some love here. Now let's look at the nominees for All-MLB designated hitter. So I know we've run out of superlatives when it comes to Shohei Ohtani, but there he is on that list, along with Yordan Alvarez, Marcell Ozuna, who's in the MVP conversation, Kyle Schwarber, the most powerful leadoff hitter ever in Philadelphia Phillies history, Brent Rooker, the A's, and Jock Peterson of the D-backs as well. Certainly some worthy nominees. Sack with Ohtani, you can go in any direction you want, but I don't think anyone was expecting this season.
No, I'm going to sing my song, Oh, 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 Ohtani. He's simply the best baseball player we've seen. Without question, MLB Network era. What he's able to do in the bat, what he's able to do on the bases, and by the way, hasn't thrown a pitch yet in 2024. He may in the month of October with the Dodgers. We've never seen a player before like him. We haven't seen one. This guy is the real McCoy. Big $700 million contract. He's lived up to every nickel of it.
And great under-the-radar nugget from our researcher, Matt Baker. 59 stolen bases, caught only 4 times. That 93.7 stolen base percentage is the second highest in any 50 stolen base season in the live ball era. Only Max Carey of the 1922 Pirates was better. So he gets on base. He's not reckless with doing damage.
He could fly. Max Carey.
We can fly. Max Carey video.
Yeah, really good.
Get Harry Carey on Max Carey and forget about it. He was unbelievable. Steve, for yourself, Schwarber, an atypical leadoff hitter.
How about 15 home runs this year out of the leadoff spot in a game? I mean, a record-setting single-season record for him. But the production from him, and here's the thing, reverse splits. He dominated left-handers this year, absolutely destroyed them, taking that high fastball, driving it out of the ballpark, power to all fields. One of 6 players this year with 100 runs scored and 100 RBIs out of the leadoff spot, leading the National League in base on balls as well. So a different sort of table setter, but a guy that can do it with big-time power production. And he sets the tone, and quite honestly, with all the players, he is the leader of the Philadelphia Phillies.
It's a good point. I've been there in spring training as well. That was a collective thought. Bryce Harper might be a bigger name, but Schwarber is the heartbeat of that team. I'll give love to Brent Rooker, the Oakland Athletics. Again, had a phenomenal year. Maybe for some people under the radar because he's on the Oakland A's, but tons of power. And Rooker brought it. 39 home runs, tied with Jose Ramirez and Marcell Ozuna. 5th most in the majors, 112 RBI, tied for 4th, and his 927 OPS was 9th. Overall, he hit .338, a 1087 OPS with runners in scoring position, added up for a 5.6 WAR in 145 games overall. Next on the All-MLB Award nominees show, it was the year of the shortstop. Ellie, Gunnar, Francisco Lindor, and Bobby Witt Jr. all shined in 2024. We will examine the field next. Second to none, these guys are Jose Altuve, the Astros, Luis Garcia Jr., Andres Gimenez, the Guardians, the number 2 seed in the American League, and Jonathan India was back with a bang for the Reds. Also give some love to Ketel Marte of the D-backs. Marcus Semien of the Rangers still has a high WAR, even in a down year offensively, and Bryce Terang does so many things you don't expect on the field. It feels like for years, Sack, we've become accustomed to what Altuve does, but maybe underappreciated for some, still reliably consistent.
Yeah, he's everything that's good about the game of baseball, right? Great players come in all different shapes and sizes. He's more than likely the smallest guy in the field, but he plays like a giant of a guy. He's been on some pennant-winning teams, World Series teams, not a very big guy, swings a big bat. And he is really the heartbeat of the Houston Astros. They struggled the first month and a half of the season. They righted the ship, and he was one of the main reasons why. 185 hits. Look at that average, 295. For a little guy, 20 home runs, has a lot of sock in that bat. 94 runs, another solid year.
And 153 games played this season, is most since 2017. Philly, you look at a guy in Bryce Terang, and this feels like old school second base. It's speed and it's defense. He's got both in spades.
Well, the Brewers do the little things right. Second most stolen bases of any team in baseball, tied for 3rd defensively. Nobody exemplifies that more than Bryce Terang. 22 defensive runs saved, the best at second base in the game. And this kid can fly. 50 50 stolen bases this year, third most in baseball. That speed can impact it, and he battles at the plate. 7 times this year, he had at-bats of 10 or more pitches, fouling them off, battling, and so he's not a big power guy, not going to get on base a lot, but he makes you work and he puts the ball in play. He's had a big impact for the Brewers.
10 pitch at-bats, just wearing down the opposition. Overall, look at the stolen base leaders. It's Dela Cruz, it's Ohtani, Turang, ahead of Javier Ramirez and Jazz Chisholm Jr.